everybody, and welcome to the Wineitupanotch Podcast, a podcast where I will bring wine to life for you. The aim with this podcast is to talk about all things wine, which I love, but also to talk about things that are happening in life. And that may be things that happen day to day in life, things that happen in the life of winemakers, things that happen in my life, and anything in between. I actually don't know where this is going to go. This is my first time trying to record a podcast, and I can tell you it has been quite a journey. So I guess the topic for today is really around getting something done when you set your mind to it. I decided quite some time ago that I wanted to do a podcast. I had decided that I wanted to do more with my interest in wine. I started taking courses and I started my Instagram account, and I really felt like the next thing to do was to talk. I've always loved talking. I like presenting and speaking in front of audiences, and I like teaching. And I figured that the podcast medium was a great way to attain that opportunity to talk to people in a different platform and to teach what I love. The challenge was I'd never done a podcast before. I've certainly listened to lots of podcasts. Some would probably call me a podcast junkie. I love to consume podcasts, and I have my favorites. But I didn't know what to do, where to start, how to begin. So, like anybody who has a goal, I started by making lists. I brainstormed and researched what it was that I might want to talk about, what equipment is required, what topics I might want to talk about, how other podcasters do what they do. And to be honest, I kind of got lost in the thinking. I have lots of lists lying around and lots of thoughts about getting the podcast done, but I just didn't seem to get to it. So today's the day. Today I just picked up my iPad, to be honest, and started speaking into it. And I really spent a lot of time thinking about what gets in the way of wanting to get things done. Because I think this is a pervasive problem for a lot of people, for all of us, frankly. There are very few people who are able to just motivate themselves to do something new and just get that done. So what is it that stops us? What was it that was stopping me from getting the podcast done? It seems that it was nothing more than fear of the unknown, because now that I've picked up this piece of equipment and I'm speaking into it, there doesn't seem to be anything overly difficult about this. I don't even have a script, to be honest. I'm just speaking. I had a little bit of an idea and decided I would give it a go, and here I am doing it. So at the end of the day, we can all do what we want to, and yet so many of us, myself included, struggle to get ourselves motivated to do so many things. Perhaps if we can face that fear of the unknown, look it straight in the eye and say, I'm not scared, I'm going to do this anyways, and see where this takes me. Perhaps we could propel ourselves to go further, faster, and at least do more things. So that's my thought for the day. That's my thought about life. And as I said, I don't know what more I'll explore in this podcast, but I'm really excited to go on this journey with each of you. Now let me switch over to wine. I'll use this first podcast to talk about why I love wine so much. I think wine is a fabulous drink, of course. It's great to consume, and there's lots of ways to consume it and lots of styles of wine to consume. But what I love the most about wine is just how interesting and intellectual it really can be. There is so much that goes into the glass of wine that we all consume so easily. So many hands touch the wine. So many minds think about how the wine should come together. So much history forms the backbone of the liquid that is poured into the glass. And then there are so many stories of the people that consume the wine and enjoy it in the ways that we do. The colorful tales, the wonderful grapes, the lands from which the wine comes from, and all of the color and richness in the experience of drinking wine is what really brings it to life for me and why I love it so much. I've always been a little bit of a nerd. I like to dig into facts and learn things, really drive knowledge into my head. So wine is perfect for that. There's so much to know, so many wine regions, so many wine grapes, so many wine styles. Then you could get into the harvesting and the various ways in which wine is produced, the styles of wine. The list is endless. So this is really what makes it so interesting for me and why I really want to, learn more, and I want to share what I'm learning. I hope that there'll be a range of people that'll listen to this podcast eventually. Probably some will be, more knowledgeable than I. But for each of you who eventually listen to this podcast, I hope that you find this entertaining and enlightening. And as I said, I love wine, but I also love life. And so My interest really is infusing those two things together and providing a forum for discussion with wine as a backdrop for that. And with that, I'll sign off. I'm not going to have a very long episode, this very first episode. I just want to really quickly introduce myself to you, introduce my idea, and let's see together where this goes. I hope that you'll join me on this journey and enjoy growing into wine as I do the same. Wishing you all the best, lots of love and light. Until next time, bye.